the Creator, call me if you get lost. Oh boy. Well, firstly, has a lot of MF Doom vibe, if you ask me, which I found to be quite surprising, but also not really surprising because I know that he's a big fan of him though, so that makes sense. Oh boy, I don't even know where to start really. It feels like Madlib could have produced a lot of this, if you ask me. The production is very well put together. Though, I seriously love the relaxed vibe of the first couple opening tracks. This record definitely gives me the Flower Boy vibes a couple times for sure. There's also a lot of very, I guess it would remind me of like his earlier stuff that also I get vibes from, like Wolf and Goblin. The pianos and Tyler's flow are very similar to Flower Boy. Production-wise and his flow, which I'd love to hear again for sure. I found the dude going on and on in the background was not my favorite. Like he was like hyping him up, like there was like this hype guy the whole record, and I was just like, dude, just shut up. I was like, I don't know why, I was just super annoyed by it. I didn't want to hear it. It was just Tyler, yeah. It's like, gosh dang it, dude. Maybe there's a reason for it, I don't know, but I found it to be really annoying throughout the record. Like, I was like, okay, thank you, okay, okay, but, whatever. I'm just gonna get this out of the way now. Lemonhead. The worst song I've heard all year. Sorry. I absolutely hate that song. That is the worst thing I've probably ever heard all year. Oh boy, like did Pink Guy make this? Is Filthy Frank back alive and he just made this all of a sudden? Like that's literally, I was like, is this a joke? Like I was listening to this like, I mean, it's totally Tyler, right? Like that's his personality, he would do something like that, but I was just like, oh boy, it's really bad. So I love that the album is consistent and like thorough all the way through by using the kind of Call Me If You Get Lost jingle that he's been playing throughout all of his little snippets that he's put out, but the record doesn't feel consistent still somehow. It's like a collection of tracks that mean nothing. They move from one to another, and eventually it just ends. I found myself bored with a lot of tracks, and I was kind of just like, oh, okay. Like I don't think I hate the album by any means, but I definitely did not expect this to be how it was, I guess. Like I was expecting something a lot different. Lumberjack has definitely grown on me though. The Hot Wind Blows immediately has some of the most smooth samples I've heard all year, which I really enjoyed. I seriously grooved with it. I'm really excited to get my box set in a couple days. I did manage to snatch one of those pre-orders before they all disappeared, which I was like really like, I worked in a whole shift that day and got home and I was like, crap, they're all sold out. But I happened to have found a box set still. I do have to remind myself though that Tyler has already made two of the greatest rap albums of all time and two of my all-time favorites, Igor and Flower Boy. Those are both going to be timeless records if you ask me. I mean, honestly, they already are. I mean, I cannot count the amount of times that I've seen Flower Boy, like the cover of Flower Boy is like someone's YouTube profile photo, and Igor, like I've seen that so many times. Like there's so many fans. People love those two records because they're great. I mean, they're really good. One of the tracks I feel like are lacking in depth but have redeeming qualities. Specifically the Sweet / Thought You Wanted to Dance track. It starts very good and then it kind of just goes, it's too long and it doesn't know when to end. And I was like, okay, all right. Again, a lot of this record is just like, all right, okay. Let's move on. It's like, I don't know. I just found myself kind of sitting here and just like not really jiving with most of it. I feel like it's interesting that Tyler the Creator based this record around like traveling, because I honestly could see myself listening to this while I'm like on vacation, which I probably will, honestly. I'll probably give it another listen on vacation very soon. But yeah, no, I think the first leg of the record is actually pretty solid. All the tracks are very good, but when you get to Sweet / Thought You Wanted to Dance, it's like, okay, you lost me. It's like, you started strong with this song, and then they're like, okay, you should have just ended it, and then split it into another track or something. I was just like, I don't understand. A mix, honestly, between Childish Gambino and something off of Dayglow's latest record. And again, really feeling like this is like one of those late night vibes, driving with your friends, you know, you're hanging out and just kind of just doing whatever, talking about whatever. It's kind of honestly background music. This whole record kind of feels like it's just background music. It doesn't feel like it's something that you're really, you're like, yeah, you focus in on it once in a while and that's about it. You're not really getting anything out of it. Unlike Igor, unlike Flower Boy, where you're like, wow, there's actually some genuine thoughts about things in here, and there's genuine like emotions that Tyler was showing through his lyrics. But this is just like, Is it just me, or do some of these songs sound like it was like in Ratatouille? Like, it sounds like a song you'd hear in Ratatouille. I don't know. Is that weird of me? Like just going salsa mode on the record was a little off-putting, to say the least. I was just like, okay, so we're dancing, and I'm thinking about cooking, and I'm thinking about Ratatouille. I don't know. A few eye-rolling tracks on here for sure, and honestly a lot of boring tracks. I still really enjoyed the record when it was good, but I also did not like the record at all when it was bad. Still very well put together, but it wasn't really what I wanted to hear after Igor. It will have its own place among his discography. That's a fact. I don't think it'll be up there with some of his better stuff, but it's definitely going to be something that I'm very interested to see what people think about, honestly, because I feel like it might be a mixed bag, which most people feel. Personally, I don't really like it, but I know that a lot of people might, actually, and a lot of his OG fans might. I'm very curious to see what Anthony Fantano says about it, to be quite honest. Without further ado, I'm gonna give Call Me If You Get Lost by Tyler, the Creator. 6, 5. I'm giving it a 5. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really like it, and I'll probably return to it maybe once more just to give it another shot. But yeah, it's pretty meh. It's nowhere as good as Igor or Flower Boy. I have a lot of issues with it. The second leg is like, it's just not going anywhere at all. Like, it literally just, I was just like, what is even happening? I just kind of gave up. And then the dubstep beat in Juggernaut, it was like, what, are we listening to Suicide Boys? I'm like, what? I don't want to listen to this crap. I was just sitting here, like, this is just not, no. I was just completely just like taken aback, but not in a good way. Like, there's sometimes you'll be taken aback, you're like, wow, that was unexpected, and I love it. But this was taken aback, and I was just like, bro, what? I was like, what are you doing? But yeah, and Wilshire's another track that just never freaking ends. I was just bored out of my mind listening to it. So yeah, not gonna be record of the year for me. I don't know if you could tell. This year's been very bad for final projects, but been pretty good for decent singles. Which, there's still a few more artists on the way though, with some new stuff, which I'm very excited. I'm still a huge fan of Tyler. I honestly, dude, okay, I love Igor and Flower Boy. Those are 5-star albums, if you ask me. 5 out of 5, perfect. But he definitely has some terrible music, and his early stuff is terrible. And if you disagree, you're more than allowed to. But I find it virtually unlistenable. I cannot listen to that stuff. It's just awful. And this gives me a lot of that, but then also a little bit of things that I loved about his those other 2 records that were, you know, like the jazzy kind of vibe and the 70s disco kind of vibe. This thing were great, but when it strays away from that, it's terrible. Like, I just cannot do it. So yeah, I'm excited to get my CD in the mail soon, even though I don't love it. Yeah, Safari's the best track on the album. Bye.